or whatever it is does the same thing, did the same thing with that, just more recently, when they tried to introduce that. But to make that statement, so he's not saying John's the best there ever was. What he is saying is that if you wind up, there may be others up there. There may be a group of them, but no one's ahead of him. So maybe Daniel's up there, or maybe Joseph is up there. Maybe Paul's up there, but nobody's ahead of him. Now, even though that's not saying he's the best, that's quite a compliment, isn't it?
Well, what about Jesus? Wasn't he the best person?
Well, but he's not counting himself, because he is not. When he says men born of women, what is he saying? Human. Ordinary people.
Human, yeah.
Yes, he was born of woman, but in a much different way.
Unconventional.
So, what was John's response when people came at him with disrespectful things?
He was right back in their face, wasn't he?
Was he?
I thought he
Was
was.
he humble about it?
You brood of vipers! Who has warned you to flee from the wrath to come?
He gave it to them both barrels.
Yeah.
Did he meekly swallow that and say, I have to be the doormat of all humanity because I am a follower of God?
He spoke truth with love passionately.
Yes. Loudly. So let's not, because sometimes people need to hear a truth in a way that gets through to them. And sometimes using a little sarcasm, instead of being nasty and calling them a name or something, but sometimes, now, what we then have to train ourselves is how to come up with appropriate sarcasm. So that it stops them, because it's not even just about you. If they're treating you that way, guess what? Anyone who's treating you in a nasty way, what is undoubtedly true?
It's a them thing, not a you thing.
That they are treating other people that same way. And that there are undoubtedly a lot of those people who cannot
Defend themselves.
or will not defend themselves. And there are a lot of people who, hopefully unlike you, will take that personally and be deeply hurt by it. So therefore, by simply tolerating their behavior, you are creating the situation where you are encouraging them to treat other people that same way.
It's like permitting them to do it.
Yeah. There's a Jewish saying that is, since World War II, has become common. Because there was a time when had they really stood up, they might have put an end to Nazism before it got started.
Never again.
Yeah, that one. But here's what it says. It says, if you are kind to the cruel, soon you will be forced to be cruel to the kind. If you are kind to the cruel, soon you will be forced to be cruel to the kind. They were kind to the cruel, to the Nazis. Oh, we can't respond in there. Oh, we can't lower ourselves to their level. And what was the result of that?
They got trampled on.
Very quickly, even they had to participate in the unkindness done to the whole world. 100 million dead. So there is a point at which we have to understand that not rolling over is the Christian thing to do. How we do it becomes the issue.
Well, isn't it that saying's, well, all that's needed to be done for evil to triumph is for the good to do
It is
nothing?
good men to do nothing.
Yeah.
Notice the definition of love, because we sometimes we have redefined love according to the world's terms, that love is Mickey Mouse. Was Jesus Mickey Mouse?
No.
No.
When you read Matthew 23, what's Matthew 23?
Flipping over.
Father against, yeah.
What's Matthew 23? 24 is end times, but what's Matthew 23?
Talking to the Pharisees. The
Jesus'
seven
criticism of the religious leaders of his day. Now bear in mind, Jesus says that. Could I say those words as legitimately as Jesus did to the people he is addressing?
I want to say no.
Why? Why? And this is very important.
The reason why I said that is Jesus was perfect, so there's no.
But could John the Baptist have said those words? In fact, did he say very similar words? They're just not recorded in such detail. John the Baptist could have said those words. I can't say those words. The Apostle Paul in Galatians 1. Have you ever read Galatians 1? I hope they're emasculated. Let them go to hell and burn there forever. I say that's what it means to be anathema. Let them all be damned. That's what he says in Galatians 1. Let them go to hell and burn forever. Could Paul have said that of the Jewish leaders of his day?
Sure.
Why could John or Paul or Peter or James have said those and I can't?
Yours won't be as meaningful?
Why? What's the difference between them and me? And this is important.
I want to say because you're just a person and they're,
So are they.
yeah, I was just going to say it. They are too.
Because they were Jews and I'm not. When Jesus says these things in Matthew 23, he is a Jew criticizing the Jewish religious leaders. And this is an important principle. Do I have a right to criticize the people that I'm criticizing because I am not painting with a brush that comes from I am an outsider criticizing them as a group?
They would look at you like you're a Gentile. Who are you to? Yeah.
And legitimately so. There is a different level that you can criticize when you are on the inside of a group. So when we went to Promise Keepers, and what really irked me was the difference between Promise Keepers and the women's, what was the women's thing that came out as, they call it the Women's Promise Keeper, Women of Blessing or something like that, that they had conferences.
Proverbs 31 something? Was it Proverbs 31 something, what they were calling themselves?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I thought it was something though simpler than that. Women of Blessing conferences or something like that. If you went to Promise Keepers, what was Promise Keepers about?
Well, Was it supposed to be out?
No, well, the original ones, not the late, that late stupid one. Or ones.
Gonna be a better husband, better father, better leader.
What was the tone?
Somber.
Yeah, men, you better shape up. Men, you need to change. Men, you haven't been taking the lead. It's time to get right with God, be the head of your family, not the commander out in the back driving them to do it. You need to be out in front, doing it better, doing it harder, doing it first, being what you want them to be, showing the example. Men, step up. That was the tone. Am I wrong, Patrick?
Right.
The women of blessings came along, and what was the tone in the women of blessing? Oh, you women are doing so great. Just keep. No! Women were failing too. But do I have the same right to criticize women that I have to criticize men?
No,
Why?
because you're not one.
Because I'm not one. So we need to understand instinctively when we push back, where we stand in that ability to push back. Can I criticize pastors?
Sure,
Unreservedly. Why?
because you're one.
Because I'm one. If a person who's not a pastor criticizes his pastors,
No,
different setting, isn't it?
yeah.
It doesn't mean you can't critique them, but it means that you have to do it in a way that is different than I as an insider can do it. So, but again, when somebody who is part of your group, who's an insider, comes at you, you can set them straight. Jesus did. And if somebody says, oh, I thought you were a Christian, you know what I would say to them? Let's read Matthew 23 together. Let me show you what, because people have this view of Jesus, that Jesus was this,
Milk toast.
yeah. Does anybody remember Father Mulcahy?
Yes.
Who was Father Mulcahy?
Mash.
Mash. Played by Christopher something.
Yeah.
I forget the actor's last name, was Christopher something. And he was the most milquetoast little gentleman you've ever met, with this little voice, and he never criticized anyone, and he was always nice. And somehow we've come to define Christian love as that attitude. That's not the attitude of the Bible. Show me the prophet that had that attitude. Well, guys, you know, maybe we could do just a little better. Was that the way the prophet spoke?
No, they were spoke directly.
Yeah. Look at 1 Corinthians 13. What's 1 Corinthians 13?
The love chapter.
The so-called love chapter. What is 1 Corinthians 13? Many scholars will tell you. What is it actually? Because Paul, these are, a lot of 1 Corinthians 13 is probably not Paul's words. He's writing them down, but they are not original to him. 1 Corinthians 13 is thought by many scholars to be the lyrics to a hymn that was sung by the early church. And Paul quotes one of the hymns that the church was singing at the time back to them to show them, this is what we really, you guys sing about this. So that part about love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, those very well may be the lyrics to a hymn that was part of the hymnal of the early church. But notice verse oh, come on, I'm losing it. Verse 6.
Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth.
Or the NASB says this, or joyfully sides with the truth. The side that Christians should always take is the truth.
Amen.
Not an individual, not my friends, not my buddies. We should be known, and if we don't oppose people when they do those things, and sarcasm or facetiousness is one way to do that, then we are not joyfully siding with the truth. We are siding with allowing them, because if I don't call people out when they do nasty things, what am I siding with?
Sin.
What they're doing, their sin.
Let me put it differently. Why do people stay silent when people are nasty or mean?
So they don't stoke.
We don't want to get involved.
To quote unquote keep the peace. I need to keep the peace. I've got to let this person mock somebody, laugh at somebody, tell jokes at their expense, be mean to them, whatever. Because if I stand up to them, it'll cause a big blow up. I just want to keep the peace. But does that keep the peace?
No.
No, it simply perpetuates
It
the
enables
behavior.
the behavior to continue.
Yeah. So
It'll get
therefore,
worse.
standing up to it. Now, sometimes that's just being knock it off. Sometimes people like that don't respond well to that. What they do respond well to is when you give it back and give it back better, that shuts them down. And they learn, ooh, I'm not going to mouth off because I'll get it back in my face. I had exactly one fight in high school. It happened about 3 weeks before I got saved. And a kid named Stuart Johnson had chosen me to be his target du jour. He was a bully. He loved to pick on people. He figured I was an easy one. I was easygoing. I didn't fight. I didn't strut around showing off my muscles. So he would have a couple of his friends when I was at my locker run up behind me, grab my arms, swing me around, and he'd punch me in the gut a couple times. Mock me and turn around and run off. Ha 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 ha!
No.
Oh yeah. And he'd done that 4 or 5 times. And he came down the hall, strutting and preening, and a group of us were blocking half the hall, and I happened to be on the outermost part of that group. And he goes, "Get out of my way, punk!" And he went to push me. I grabbed his arm, pulled him right into my fist, and pounded his face. And I hit him probably 15 times in the mouth before he even knew what I'd done. Tore his mouth to pieces, and blood everywhere. Teeth were bloody, his lips were bloody. It was split in every direction. And then the teachers started running. "What's going on there?" And everybody split. Now he was ticked. He walked up to me in homeroom at the end of the day, right before the buses were called. He goes, "Watch your back, I'm going to get you." And I grabbed his lip, which was still all bloody, and hauled it down. I go, "There's my work from this morning. Anytime you want more, you know where I live, come and get it. But you will never do to me what you've ever done again. Now, you want it right here, right now, or you want to back off?" Never had to fight again.
Yeah.
And not only that, but he backed off from everybody. Because if Jenkins wouldn't take it, who
And
else
nobody else will.
might not take it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying to hit anyone. But you understand the principle here. If you just keep the peace, oh, let him keep doing that, keep the peace. The sticks and stones can, well, never fight because fighting is always wrong. No, it's not. And that's what Matthew 23 and the words of John and the words of the prophets say. Standing up for the truth is where we need to be. And if the truth is somebody's a bully, calling them out on it. And for many bullies, the best way to do that is sarcasm, because they love heaping that, but they absolutely despise when it's heaped on them.
I don't want to see Lou with a black eye on Monday.
So sometimes we need to educate people about what it means to be a Christian, because they have this skewed idea that what's the only virtue that's preached in America today? There's only one.
Patience?
I'm going to say it a little differently, but you're in the right area.
Tolerance?
There's the one. Tolerance. Chastity, that's not a virtue. Purity, that's not a virtue. Tolerance. And what does that mean?
Accept everybody for what they
Yeah.
are.
You've got to tolerate not just everybody,
Sin. There's sin.
but every action. You cannot differentiate between any actions. That's intolerant. You're saying that your way's better. No, I'm saying there's a right and a wrong. I'm siding with the right. You're siding with the wrong.
They preach tolerance until you talk about things of God or
Yeah.
Christianity or conservative. Then it's, hey, stop that.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to tolerance. Wait a minute.
Tolerate my stuff.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yep.
I saw that. That's not new. I saw that 50 years ago when I was a brand new Christian. That has always been the playbook of the left. When they are out of power, what do they preach?
Capitalism. Being down.
Tolerance. When they are in power, what do they preach?
Kindness.
No, never.
Hate.
When they are in power, they preach conformity.
Ah,
Fall in line or else. As soon as they're out of power, tolerance. You got to tolerate. I'm not going to fall in line with you, but you've got to tolerate it. As soon as they get back in power, conformity. That is the constant playbook of the left.
gotcha.
And they never deviate from it. So in the first election, when Trump said, lock her up, how dare you even say those words? That's not tolerant.
It's justice.
You can't touch her. You can't touch her. How dare you think of arresting a presidential candidate? That's unthinkable. As soon as they got in power in 2020, what happened?
What happened?
200 lawsuits against Trump.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can't think about doing that. But as soon as we're in power, we'll not just think about it, we'll do it. Do you see
Hypocrisy.
how that works? Hey, just one thing on that, and it goes back to it goes back to my situation at work. Right now, the county supervisors, commissioners, whatever they're calling them now, they've changed their name, are deathly afraid. Because there are 2 Republican commissioners in Gloucester County. And they're running a slate of 3 for this new election.
Primary too.
No, for the real election that's coming up.
Oh, good.
They are absolutely terrified that the Republicans will take over the county office here in Gloucester County. And if that happens, a whole bunch of their dirty dealing is going to be exposed, including what is happening at Gloucester County Institute of Technology that had me thrown out. The latest thing I heard this week is that one of the reasons I was thrown out is the superintendent's office got a list from the county officials of who were Republicans,
Oh, boy.
and that's how they decide,
Oh, no.
how they determined who was gonna go.
Wow,
So are you
That's-
still involved in the lawsuit that they put you in?
They got evidence of that?
wow.
Yes. They have that
That's
in
still
writing.
discrimination.
I do not believe so, and that's why they're afraid that they'll lose the county,
It's out of the system.
because the
Okay.
two county commissioners showed up and were banned from the meeting. They wouldn't let them in the building. The two Republican commissioners showed up for the illegal meeting and were held outside
It
and
is.
told they could
How
not
can they
enter the
do that?
meeting.
It is in
How
a
can they do
system.
that? Isn't that public?
Because they deliberately schedule it during school hours. You're not a school official, you can't be in the building during school hours.
Oh, an excuse.
And they held the meeting illegally to do that. They had to give 48 hours notice. 48 hours notice was 7 o'clock in the evening. They found out a whole bunch of people were coming. They moved it to 12 in the afternoon, which is 41 hours, not 48 hours.
Wow.
So the whole thing is, but this is just a common thing that's been going on in the county forever.
Playing games.
Somebody here can talk about the day they were hired full-time, after they re-registered as a Democrat, because they could not get a job
They
until they
do
were
what they can
registered
get
as
away
a
with.
Democrat.
Joe Conway.
Yeah.
He had to do that. He doesn't vote Democrat, but he had to be registered as well.
Yep, he's not alone. That is a common practice in this county. So you asked me, do I have proof? None at all. Do I believe that rumor 1,000%?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Because I have had too many people tell me about being told that directly. Go change your registration if you want to get this job, or keep working or whatever.
All the people in the school know how you are, right, as far as that you do the extra and they're very happy with it, like the
Oh, yeah.
people in charge?
Yeah.
Didn't you say even the police said?
Oh, yeah.
They know that you,
Oh.
you know,
Yeah,
like who's gonna do that now?
It's all political.
they don't care.
Well, the people above them might
Care for
also
one
be
person,
kind of,
that's
they
some
twist
sort
your arm because they want to get along
Yep,
to stay. So they might not even believe what they're doing, but they got to do it because
yep.
they'll come after them. So they're enforcing, that's
Oh, yeah. Look at Menendez, it doesn't matter that you're on their side. The second you displease them, being on their side for 40 years doesn't do a thing. They'll heave you over the railing.
Stay in the echo chamber or get pushed out.
So I want to reiterate this, that don't let the world, Romans chapter 12 verse 1 says what?
Do not be conformed to
Do
the
not
pattern of this
conform.
world, but be renewed.
Be transformed.
Thank you.
By the renewing of the mind?
Thank you.
Of your mind.
Therefore, I urge you.
I forget which translation it is that translates that. Do not let the world squeeze you into its mold.
Sounds like a message.
Might be,
NLT, maybe,
could
New
be,
Living Translation.
yeah.
I have it out in the car.
The point there is the world will try to form you into its idea of what. Don't let them do that. Really important thing. What title did Jesus never take for himself? What title did Jesus never take for himself?
Good master.
No. And when he's directly asked, he said, "You've said it, not I."
Are you God?
Close.
Okay.
Messiah?
Are you Messiah?
Messiah or Christ.
Yeah.
Greek, Hebrew.
You didn't say that to the woman at the well? I am he?
He answers her question. She's a Samaritan. That's a
Samaritan, yeah.
Little, yeah, a little different. But he never does that with the Jews. Why? Why does Jesus just not come out and say, "I'm the Christ. I'm the Messiah"? What does he call himself?
Son of man.
He constantly uses the term Son of Man. That bugged me so much when I was a young Christian. Why doesn't he just say, Son of God, Son of God? I'm reading the Bible, I'm going, come on, give it to him. You're the Son of God, not the Son of Man. See, I didn't know the Bible. What is significant about that term, Son of Man?
I'd like to know the difference between the two. Is one his person, his godly person, and the other is his?
The Son, not exactly.
His nature, I mean, his godly nature as opposed to his human nature.
Where does Jesus get all his imagery, or the vast majority of his
The
imagery?
Jewish scriptures.
From the Hebrew Bible, our Old Testament. Well, what is the Son of Man in the Hebrew Scriptures?
It's in Daniel, right?
Well, the most common usage is in Ezekiel.
Oh wait, no, sorry.
12.
93 times
Oh, I see it.
in the book of Ezekiel, the term Son of Man is used. First one being Ezekiel 2:1. So let's just start there. But there's 93 of them.
Is that all?
So that's more than one a chapter, almost two a chapter.
Two one, you said?
2:1. What's Ezekiel 2:1?
He said to me, Son of man, stand up on your feet, and I will speak to you.
Who's speaking? Who's speaking?
Prophet Ezekiel.
No,
God.
God is speaking. God is speaking to Ezekiel, and what does he call him?
Son of
Son of
man.
man.
Son of Man. And it goes on through the chapter 3, verse 1. Son of Man. He doesn't use his name, he gives this title, Son of Man.
He's calling it to Ezekiel the whole time.
He's calling it to Ezekiel. 93 times God calls Ezekiel Son of Man. What is the context then of what Son of Man means in Ezekiel?
So I have a footnote. I'm going to use my resource. The Hebrew phrase Ben Adam means human being. The phrase Son of Man is retained as a form of address here and throughout Ezekiel because of its possible association with Son of Man in the New Testament.
And it's definitely, and when that says possible,
Yeah.
no, it is connected.
It is.
Just means he's human.
I'm going to go a little further than that footnote does. Yes, it means human, but it's more like representative of humanity.
Oh. So he's a representative of Adam.
Yes, he's a representative of the children of Adam. He's representing Adam's line. He is one of them, and I'm talking to you, but as I'm talking to you, one of them I'm talking to. Is this message just for you?
No. Still
I'm talking to
mankind.
all of them. So you're my representative. You're representing all of humanity. I'm addressing you in this address to all of them. That's the crowd there, and somebody goes, who's in charge? And the person steps forward and they talk to that person. But they don't just mean that person, they mean the entire crowd. What are you doing here? They don't mean just that person. They mean every person there.
Saying when you're saying Son of Man, he's addressed all mankind.
He's addressing mankind, yes.
But isn't Jesus the new Adam? So is it a different Son of Man?
So one is this human person who is standing in place of all humanity. Is Jesus that?
No.
Sure he is.
He's the new Adam, though, I thought.
Well, but he's representing it. He's not the new Adam yet.
Would he be the new nature?
He only becomes the new Adam when?
At the crucifixion?
After he passes the test and he succeeds in the failure that Adam failed.
Well, wouldn't
So
that
it's
be right
only
away?
in his death, it's only in his death that he becomes the new Adam. The new Adam died. So in Adam we all died. In Christ, in one aspect of
He
Christ,
shouldn't have died.
by his death we all live.
So at the moment he said, it is finished, and bows his head, that's the new, okay.
Because when Adam sinned, he said, you are dead, meaning
Yeah.
you're dead in your sins.
Right.
The just for the unjust.
So it's not until he actually pays that price that he becomes the new Adam. He still is the representative when he's nailed to the cross. How is he nailed to the cross?
You mean in the flesh?
But he is nailed to the cross as all humanity. My sins were nailed with him.
But isn't all humanity guilty, and he's innocent on the cross? So how?
No, he is guilty on the cross.
Because the Father puts
Because
the sin
all of
the
our
world.
sins were laid upon him.
Okay.
He took
All right.
them all. Yeah.
Okay.
He is now guilty. What was the Old Testament figure of that? And Jesus is both of those. There were two lambs.
The scapegoat.
There was the sacrificial lamb. There was also the scapegoat. And what did he laid his hands on the scapegoat and sent it out. There's all the sins. Get out of here. Jesus is both of those same time. Fascinating how God.
When the
fulfills
scapegoat goes, that's saying that the sin is gone.
Yes.
But are we assuming the scapegoat will just now live, or will the scapegoat die?
Well, once you send the goat out into the wild, the thing
Yeah,
is that he's going to die.
Yeah.
Something's going to
Predator.
happen.
Yeah, the predators are going to get him. He's separated from
He's
the
not
protection.
protected yet.
But the
he's not-
scapegoat, when we say,
No earthly symbol is absolute, but it's only in the combination of those that you see the wonder of Christ.
okay,
So, this human one who represents all humanity, who stands in the place of humanity, his death for our death, his life for our life. What does Paul say? I am crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, yet not I,
but Christ liveth within me.
and the life I now live in the flesh I live
In Christ.
by the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. He represents me in his death, he represents me in his life, he represents me in every way. That makes sense?
Yeah.
That's the one Son of Man. But there's a different Son of Man. Utterly, undeniably, oppositely different. Where's that found?
Daniel.
Daniel 7. Who is the Son of Man in Daniel 7?
Daniel.
What?
Daniel?
Well, find it. It's not written on my forehead, even for Mike. Those special glasses cannot see it.
Man, I can't win. Will we?
One thing that the kids at school have learned is do not get into a battle of wits with Mr. Jenkins.
By the way, you know the one guy that I brought a few times and he's on here all the time, John
Yeah.
Rocco?
Yeah.
He's a little different, but he's very quick-witted, and he was at a comic thing at a bar or something like that, and he was wearing like a cowboy hat, and the comics started picking on him, which was the wrong thing to do. He said some, but boy, the comic was embarrassed by the time he got done. Yeah, it was not good what he said. I wasn't.
They escorted the comic off and escorted them up front to meet the comic.
He merely made him look bad, so.
7:13.
7:13. What's Daniel 7:13 say?
In my vision at night I looked, and there before me was one like a son of man. Coming with the clouds of heaven, he approached the Ancient of Days and was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory, and sovereign power. All nations and peoples of every language worshiped him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will never be destroyed.
That's Jesus.
I put Jesus in my.
So now,
Prophetic.
Yeah.
so now, what do we know about this Son of Man?
He's in a special category. It's just Jesus. It's not a representative. I mean, he's not.
There's something we know from one word in that sentence, in that section that she read. One word tells us what this Son of Man is.
He be worshipped.
He is worshipped. What does that mean?
God.
He is God. You shall worship the Lord Almighty, and Him only will you worship. So when it says he was worshipped in heaven, who is this Son of Man?
Jesus.
Well, it's God. So Jesus shows up and says, I, the Son of Man. What does he mean?
I'm him. I'm this guy.
I am.
Both natures.
Do you know what he means when he says that? You've got Son of Man representative, you've got Son of Man divine being. Which one is he referencing?
Is he referencing both?
Both.
Perhaps, but one, the other, both, but you don't know. What do you have to do?
Research.
You have to listen to him. Jesus shows up and says, I'm the Messiah. You're a good Jew. AD 27. He didn't have that date then, but 1,000 years later, what would be AD 27? Jesus says, I am the Messiah. What do you say? Immediately. Kick out the Romans, military leader, establish the Jews as rulers of the earth.
Full authority and dominion. Yep.
We've got a whole box to put him in. This is what you're claiming. Do we have to listen to another word he has to say?
To know
Not
who
if
he
you made
is.
the declaration. They had the list to put
No,
it
we
in.
know exactly who you are. We've got you pigeonholed. We've got you boxed. This is what you're claiming. Is that really what you're claiming? Doesn't matter. We've got you in our box. Do you see how that goes?
Mm-hmm.
So Jesus never, for the Jews, says, I'm the Messiah. Ever, 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 ever. Why? Because as soon as he says that,
According to
we've got you in your pigeonhole. We know what you're claiming, even if they don't.
By the way, even if he claims to be Messiah, to the Jewish people, the Messiah is not God.
That's true,
Yeah.
but they know what that, they think they know what that means.
No, but I'm saying if you...
Political leader, defeat the Romans, from now on, we're not gonna listen to anything you have to say because we know what you're claiming. Now, you need to live up to our expectations. We put you in our pigeonhole, stay there.
That's why he didn't say, I'm the Messiah.
Yes.
Okay. But he said Son of Man because now it had two different...
So he says Son of Man, and they go, wait a minute, Jesus, which one do you mean? There's two of them.
Son of Man who's the representative, and the Son of Man who is...
The divine being.
Divine being.
Now what do I have to do to figure out what he's saying?
See it in context?
I have to actually listen to the context of what he's saying. Which one does he mean? I don't know. So I turn to Joe and I go, Joe, what's he mean by that? I don't know. There's two of them we could be. Which one's he referring to? I don't know. Well, better listen up, huh? Do you see how that works? We as Christians often let the world, and we use buzzwords that let us get pigeonholed instantly. This is what you're saying.
But he purposely didn't say Messiah because, as we said, the Jewish people didn't see the Messiah as God. So it wouldn't.
But it's not just that. It's deeper than that. It's that would allow them to put him in a box where they thought they understood what he was saying without listening. They didn't need him to define what he was saying. We know what he means. Closed mind, we're done. And we often let the world do that to us. That's why it was so powerful, and some of you who got saved in the 70s like I did, the big thing that happened in the 70s, it's not a new term, but it was new then, Jimmy Carter ran for president, and suddenly what was the big thing that everybody was talking about?
Born again Christian.
Born again! Now that's a very old concept. If you'd gone back 150 years ago, that would have, but that had fallen so out of disuse.
I never heard of it. I had no clue what that meant.
That when people started saying that, people go, a what? Uh-huh? What are you talking about, Willis? I looked at Joy's face, she goes, what is that mean?
I know what it is.
Oh, different
What are you
church?
Yeah, I
talking
know
about?
what is that the Jeffersons?
No,
No.
different strokes.
Different strokes,
Yeah,
okay, I got
it's,
confused.
What you talking about?
I knew it, I just
Talking
forgot
about
the
rules.
title, yeah.
That was good.
That was the response. And it opened up people to actually listen. By the 1980s, people were still running around talking about born again, born again, born again. What did it do then? Absolutely nothing. Why? Because it had become so popularized that as soon as you opened your mouth and said born again, people could put you in a pigeon box. Oh, you're talking about that thing.
You're one of those born agains.
Yeah. Now it's pigeonholed. Jesus never let himself be pigeonholed. And they kept asking him, are you saying you're the Messiah? No, I'm not saying that. You said that, not me.
The world does that today with like he, him, she, her,
Yeah.
labeling, the same trick, different generation.
Yep. And that's part of human nature, is to put things in boxes that we think we understand. And Jesus doesn't let people, and we need to become better at not letting people put us in a box. And whether it's this Father Mulcahy is the ideal Christian box, or the born again box, or the intolerant box,
Like they call it Christian nationalists.
the hater
Yeah,
box, we need to do everything in our power to not let ourselves be boxed. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Because when they can do that, It's not just that, oh, that's hurtful. Well, that's their term. No, it makes you ineffective.
They're shipping you to dismiss you.
Yeah, because now they put you in the box, they've stapled the lid, they've put down the packing tape, and you're sealed away, and they can ignore you from that point on.
Yep.
They have you all figured out.
Yep.
Yep, yeah.
That, the one that Mike said, Christian nationalism, I don't think I've ever heard that outside of like the last year.
Yeah.
I never heard
Well,
that.
I think it just
Yeah.
was made up just now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're trying to imply like it's a bad thing. And
Yeah.
stop giving labels. Are you a
Yeah.
Christian nationalist? No.
It's said in the
Are you a man?
pejorative,
No.
let's
Of
face
course
it.
it is.
Mhm.
Right.
Now, some people are smart enough that they, who was the one of the ultimately labeled groups that grabbed a hold of it and said, yep, that's us, and just turned the smart mouths on their nose with it.
Is that Jerry Falwell?
For a long time, they were the largest denomination in America, by far,
Christian, right?
earlier, when all the Christians were right.
Not the fundamentalists, right?
Back when every Christian was quote unquote a fundamentalist. Before that's technically true. The 19 teens was the fundamentalist.
Does it have the name Baptist in it?
No. The fundamentalist modernist controversy, where the church divided between what we now call the liberal church and the fundamentalist or conservative church. That only goes back to the 1910s. The Methodists. They said, oh, you're just a bunch of Methodists. You're just going about, they said, sounds good to us, we're Methodists. And you know what it did? It shut up every one of their oppressors.
You know, we talk about labels. I was watching one of these little quick things with Charlie Kirk and this person, and essentially the person said, I'm queer, and Charlie Kirk was trying to have that person define that, and Charlie Kirk, because I can relate, he's like, can you define that? Because I was brought up that if I said that word, it was a bad word, and you don't say that word, like that's just, and that's what Charlie Kirk was saying, and the guy, he kept asking the guy, he's like, what does that mean? When you say, so I can say I'm a conservative and I can give examples of why I'm a conservative or why I'm a Republican, or like giving examples. He's like, give me an example of what that means. Like, what does queer mean? And he's like, well, it just means that, and he just kept, it was like this cycle of like, he just couldn't define it. It's like, they're saying there's
I
this
believe in
label.
Queerness.
Yeah, but he couldn't give an example.
What's queerness? Being queer.
Exactly, like that's exactly what he couldn't define it, but.
The best thing to do is question them. Like then it's
Yeah.
right, but you put the potato back, the hot potato.
Yeah, but again, but also being willing to make it so that they have to question you. And you're right, and I've talked about using questions, but the other side of that component is, don't let them put you in a box where they don't have to question you. They've got you all labeled away and put on the shelf, and they don't have to interact with what you're saying anymore, because I know what you're saying and I reject it wholeheartedly. And I always found that frustrating until I understand why Jesus did it the way he did it. Why doesn't Jesus every other page just saying, I'm God in the flesh, that's what I wanted to see on the page so I could show it to somebody, and he doesn't do that.
You know, Dennis Prager has a saying, and I like it. He says, I appreciate clarity over agreement. And that's kind of what I'd like to do. Just so you're clear on what I believe. Instead of,
Correct.
I'm a hater, I'm this. Just be clear. And if you don't like it, that's okay. But be clear. And I want to be clear what you know.
Yeah. And Charlie Kirk, I don't know if he got it from Prager, but he stressed that an awful lot. So we have clarity, not agreement.
Yep.
Absolutely.
He would say that
Yeah.
in his discussions.
And that is an important step if we're going to build bridges into people's lives.
You can't have a debate with somebody if there's.
No talking.
Exactly.
Well, and not only that, but if you can't agree on what a term means.
Exactly, yeah.
And they don't want, if it's clear, it'll show you right. They don't
Yeah.
want it clear.
And as he was saying about the word queer, notice how so many words today they are trying to utterly redefine. If I were to say to you that report that you wrote is an abortion, am I complimenting you on your writing ability?
No.
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 The very word abortion is a terrible word. It's a pejorative word. It is a criticizing word. But we want to say abortion's good. Huh?
Mhm.
And that's a change from where our society used to be. Because what was even the cry of the pro-abortionists
Take care.
30 years ago?
Rare, safe, and,
Rare, safe. I forget the third one. There was a
yeah,
third
it was
one.
rare, safe, and legal.
And legal, yes. Rare, safe, and legal. We want to make sure it stays legal, but we want it to be rare. Now it's abortion's a good thing. And if you can't define the terms, if you can't hold a discussion.
Did you see the
And
legislature?
Jesus forced
Did you see
them.
those? Okay.
Jesus forced them to do that by not picking a term that they thought they knew the meaning of. Now you have to ask me what it means to be the Son of Man, and you have to listen to what I'm saying.
It's true.
God bless.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Don't come back now, yeah.
Hopefully you can apply that in how you treat people.
The Pharisees would keep moving that way with like Caesar and the coin, and they just kept trying to box him in.
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely.
But